So, welcome to what will be episode 1 of the 2026 series of the classic lizard Canary. So this is basically series 3 since I've started these videos, of course, focused on the classic lizard. As you can see, you'll see some footage kind of as the video rolls of like a speeded up version of me basically doing the deep clean of the cages. As many of you will know, these are the Dave Rand's plastic cages with some cage fronts that I kind of specified, and yeah, I'm really pleased with them. Really easy to clean. Many of you will know that when I colour feed the lizards, I put the chlorophyll red in the water, and that can be particularly messy, but I have to say, like I said, I've cleaned these cages several times since the molt and since the colour feeding was done, and there's very little signs of any colour food on here. I heard a few people talk about maybe spraying the cages with bleach to kind of get rid of the colour food staining, but I have to say, by just using some disinfectant wipes that I use, and then drying it down with dry paper towels, spraying it with some anti-mite disinfectant and so on, you know, they come up really clean, look almost as good as new. So I'm really pleased with how that's kind of worked out. A few learnings, I guess, from 2025. I wanted to highlight something. So I basically had these cages produced, and as you can see, they've got the plastic flap for the seed hopper there. And then what I actually do is I use the gravity feeders quite a bit. So if I'm particularly busy from a work perspective, I find these really helpful. You know, you can top them up. These will last literally on a pair of birds, for example, for about 2 weeks, really, without being needing to be topped up. So I don't know if you can kind of see it now, but there's a clip here that keeps the plastic piece on, so I can hook that out of the way. This then kind of drops in, and then I can just feed from the top, you know, the seed, you know, and the birds kind of take it. One of the learnings, though, like I said, this year is I've been using these for supplements, maybe for some pinhead oatmeal and stuff like that, to help kind of build the youngsters up when they've been molting. Now, one of the things I've found this year is I've had some challenges in terms of with the lizard canaries, losing flight feathers, sometimes tail feathers, but mainly flight feathers, and some spangles as well. And of course, when they grow back with the lizard canary, they grow back with the adult plumage. So you've seen my videos before where they come back with the little white tips on, which is normally the definition of like an adult plumage, like I said before. What I think has been happening is, and I've seen this a few times now, the birds actually climb inside sometimes to dig deeper for the seed, or whatever the supplements are, or naked, you know, oats or pinhead oatmeal, and I think they're kind of catching themselves a little bit when they're climbing in. They're sometimes jumping in, even in some cases, because they're not the largest bird in the world. And I think that's probably what's caused me the biggest challenges in terms of the some of the fault feathers. I mean, I know you can't pin it down to everything, because they'll throw, you know, flight and tail feathers, you know, at the drop of a hat sometimes, and it's really inexplicable. But yeah, I kind of noticed it with the first round of youngsters, and then I changed things for the second round of youngsters, and thankfully the second round of youngsters I've had less of an issue by taking these off. So I'm kind of using these at certain times of the year. So I use these with the breeding pairs. I'm using them now as I'm kind of going through the wintering and conditioning process again, but when I've got youngsters sectioned off, ready for the molt for the show season next year, these are going to come off. That's an absolute certainty. Now, basically what I've done is, and you'd have seen, again, like I said, from this clip that you're going to see, where you can see me, doing the deep clean of the cages. So I kept the top layer, I cleaned them first, moved the cockbirds up into the top row. So there's, there's 7 cockbirds up there. One of them's actually for a novice that's got to come and collect it at some point. So there'll be 6 cockbirds that I'll be running with for the 2026 breeding season, of which there are 4 silver cocks and 2 gold cocks. Then as I cleaned this section where the cockbirds had been housed, once I cleaned that, I moved the hens into here, and there are actually currently 7 hens in here. I intend to focus on 6 pairs, but I am keeping a hen back as a spare, which I'll talk about later on in the video. So like I said, because one of the I think one of the newcomers that have been watching the video gave me some really excellent feedback. I'll name his name a bit later, about saying it would be really good to see on the video a comparison of some of the birds to each other. So what I've basically done is, this year I was really pleased with a family of golds that I bred off a particular pair. So there was some footage from earlier on in the 2025 breeding season where you probably remember there was a cock and a female, and they were basically feeding, just ramming the food into 5 youngsters at the same time. And all 5 birds in that nest were reared successfully. They all came through the molt. There were 3 non-cap gold hens, a broken cap gold cock and a broken cap gold hen. Now, you can't keep them all. It's a really strong family, and you'll see the footage later on of the quality of, particularly of the hens. So I moved the broken cap gold cock off to a novice friend of mine, and also the broken cap gold hen off to a novice friend of mine as well. And I've basically retained the 3 non-cap gold hens that are probably the strongest out of the 3. So what you'll see later on in the video is actually a clip or some pictures showing all 3 birds, showing the spangles on the back as a comparison, showing the breastwork on the front, showing the spangles through the head. And it's just really just to give some comparison of what those golds look like. And then what I've also done is the silver cocks that I'm going to be working with. There's a couple of natural non-colour fed birds, and then a couple of colour fed birds. So I've kind of put them in to do some comparisons as well, to try and help people, as that was one of the things that was requested. So hopefully that will you'll find that interesting as well. Prior to this video going out though, hopefully a number of you have seen it. There was a video that I intended to put out at the beginning of the 2025 show season. For some reason there was an error when I tried to post it on YouTube, and it never kind of happened. So what I've done is I've put it out on like the first week of January, and what that actually shows is that shows you some definitions of the cap, using some kind of put together kind of sketches that I kind of pulled together just to give you examples of the differences between non-caps, clear caps, broken caps, nearly clear caps, nearly non-caps, etc, and then going through kind of the colour definition, so showing the silvers, which are the non-intensive or the buffs, showing the golds, which of course are the intensive or the yellow feathered birds within the lizard canary, showing them in their colour fed plumage, and also showing them in their non-colour fed natural plumage, and again showing these as comparisons throughout by the caps. So quite a lengthy video, took quite a bit of putting together, but I think in terms of a video document of some quality lizard canaries, thanks to some of the images that were shared with me in particular by Hugh Evans, I think it really gives people a really good idea of what the lizard canary really is about, and gives you some really quality images of some really stunning quality lizards to give people who are not so familiar with the breed a better idea. It's got the judging standard on there as well, and my intention of it going out at the beginning of the show season was really because obviously when it comes to Cage Bird Society shows, you get a number of judges that maybe are specialists in certain breeds that don't see the lizard that often, so it gives them an opportunity if they're being requested to judge a lizard, or if they're given the opportunity to judge a lizard, let's say for potential best canary show or best birding show. It helps them understand the breed a little bit better. I'm no judge, by the way. Obviously I understand my birds, and even though I did this some 30 years ago and have come back into the hobby recently, I'm still learning again. Just on that point, from a judging perspective, I did stage 1 of my judging training this year with David Allen down at South Bucks Canary Breeders Association. Really enjoyable morning. It's always good spending time with people like David anyway. We had some good fun as we were kind of going through the judging process. Obviously allowed me to judge some classes, and then we reviewed sort of the results as such, and we talked about what he was choosing and how he was choosing the birds as well. It was a really good learning process for me, and I actually strongly recommend it to people, even if you're not intending to get into judging the lizard canary. Spending a bit of time with a lizard canary judge, evaluating some birds, is a really interesting thing to do, even if it's just to understand things from your own bird's perspective and improving your own stud. It was a very valuable experience for me, regardless of the fact that it is for my judging training. I'm hoping to do the final stage in 2026, so then I could take on some judging engagements hopefully in 2027. But let's kind of see how the year pans out and the season pans out. Going back to what I highlighted earlier about the birds are now kind of caged off. I've got literally the hens in this row here, and then I've got the cocks up here. Now, I saw this on a Facebook page recently where somebody was asking about the number of birds you could house in a, let's say, 7 foot long length of cages. Well, that's exactly what these are. They literally, there's 6 single cages potentially, but it opens up into a 7 foot length of a cage. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend take a look at the Bird Hub channel on YouTube. There's a particular video there that was done with Terry Kelly, well known through the Five Fancy, of course, over the years, Terry, and where he mentions about the housing of multiple birds in a cage. And he talks about if you put 2 males in a cage, they get territorial and they're going to fight. But absolute certainty, because there's 2 of them in there, and it's just going to kick off. Whereas if you put potentially 8 in a cage, then it is less likely to happen. The dominance isn't quite such a major thing. And quite frankly, my experience is the same. I mean, you will hear every now and again a little bit of scuffling and squabbling, but on the whole, they've got room to escape. There's safety in numbers as well, to be fair. And I generally find that I don't really have any issues, he says, touching wood. So far, I haven't had any issues anyway. So one of the things I do is, obviously they're currently cocks in one cage, hens in another. But from a bonding perspective, in the month of probably about halfway through November and all the way through pretty much December, team that I'm going to keep back, and they're generally some of them are my show team as well for breeding. I'll actually have them housed as pairs, but with a partitioning with some slight gap in it, so that the cocks and the hens can see each other, and it kind of starts off that bonding and interest kind of process. And then subsequently, in the last week of December, when I move the hens into one cage and then the cocks into another cage, they're calling to each other because now they can't see each other, but they know they're there, and so on. So it kind of, that absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of situation kind of hopefully occurs. The other thing I do is, and as you know, these gravity feeders, they would have had mixed canary in through the show season and through the breeding season. So what I actually do as the show season finishes, I literally just top these up with a plain canary. So as the mixed canary starts to drop, the plain canary filters down, and then eventually they are on a plain canary diet. Now I do give them other things like conditioning seed and little bits and often. Nothing that's going to put weight on. Everything's designed to, one, keep them healthy, but two, also keep the weight down, which that also helps with the length of the cage and only having 2, maybe 3 perches in there, making them fly more. But yeah, that's something I do, and now, as you can probably see, we are literally now on plain canary in these cages, completely, and with a bit of grit. And then today they've had some curly kale in the cages, which they've absolutely devoured in a very short space of time. And that's what I'll do. Yeah, they seem healthy, they seem happy. No complaints. So I'll just stick to the plans that I've had, year on year with regards to the kind of wintering and conditioning. And let's see how we go. But on the whole, really happy with the birds I've had this year. Really happy with what I've got to work with. Later on in the video, like I said, we'll see those comparisons. But what I'll also do is show, as you know, I did a end of 2025 show review of all of the shows from a classic lizard perspective, all of the main ones, let's say. And at the end of this video there'll be some footage just showing how my birds have done this year, because this year I would say I've made significant progress this year. Visually I can see the improvement in the birds, and thankfully as the show season went on, and at the beginning, I've been in the high numbers of the classes all through the show season, starting as early as the National at Stafford. And I've also very successful South Bucks show where I ended up with 4th best lizard canary with one of those non-caps, which you'll see. And then that non-cap sister the following day went and won 4th best champion at the Midland and best champion non-cap. So all in all, and of course the Warsaw show getting best there was also a great result. So all in all, it's been a good season. The season's progressed, won some big classes, which is always a good measure of improvement, but I can visually see the improvement in the birds anyway. So and that's what it's about for me. If I can see things improving year on year, then that really is the focus for me, because you've got to have that level of enjoyment as well, not just the show success, but I've always said it, if you're seeing the improvement in what you're doing and what you're trying to do works, then there's an equal amount of pleasure comes from that as it does for picking up a few awards along the way, which those awards kind of validate what you're doing, really, when you get out there and you're showing against some numbers, of course. So yeah, so that's where we are. Like I said, shed's had the deep clean. I will smoke bomb it from a mite perspective at some point over the next few weeks. The birds can stay in the cages when I do that. There's no issues there. And kind of looking forward to the breeding season. I will start playing with the lighting probably second week of January. The light's currently set to be on at 7 a.m. in the morning till 5 p.m. in the evening, and I'll add about 30 minutes every week until maybe early March. And by early March, hopefully things should be looking positive. I did that in 2025 for the first time, effectively started probably about 3 or 4 weeks earlier than I have done in the past, and it worked for me. So fingers crossed that it works again in 2026. Like I said, I'm running with an extra hen and an extra pair this year, so I'm hoping to breed a few more compared to last year to have more to choose from. But those 3 gold hens, by the way, are pretty much the foundation of this stud, past and present and moving forward, really. So kind of building off those, and episode 2 of the 2026 series will focus a little bit on the pairings. I'll get the pairs into some cages and show you some images and explain why I've decided to pair what I've decided to pair. So that's it for my lengthy introduction, which I believe has gone on for 20 minutes. Can you believe I could talk for that long? Those that know you, know me even, know me well enough that I could go on forever. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. Hopefully you like what you see. I look forward to seeing you with my face behind the camera a few more times in 2026, explaining how things progress. And again, really grateful for the feedback, and if there's anything you want me to add, if it's possible for me to do so, I will do. Just drop me some private messages through Facebook or whatever, or WhatsApp, or just add some messages in the chats on the YouTube channel, and I'll do my best to incorporate things that you feel might be helpful going forward. So with that, I wish you all the best for 2026 and the forthcoming breeding season, and I'll keep you posted on future content. Okay, thank you, take care, and enjoy the rest of this video. So here we have one of the pairs from the 2025 season, a non-cap gold cock that was brought in as an outcross, and a clear cap silver hen that I bred myself from a very strong pedigree of birds that I've had for a number of years now. They successfully bred me a really nice family of golds, particularly these 3 gold hens, all of them non-caps, and these 3 non-cap gold hens will form the foundation really of the stud moving forward in 2026. So one of the subscribers to the channel, David Stevenson, asked me, or he thought it would be a good idea if we could show a comparison of maybe 3 birds of the same colour, same sex, etc. So I've chosen those 3 non-cap gold hens. So ring number 3, ring number 5 and ring number 7. First thing to look at is the backs of the birds. So the spangles down the back, which attribute the largest amount of points when you're judging a lizard canary. You can see the bird on the left, ring number 3, the spangles aren't really lining up and are a bit messy, whereas ring number 5 and ring number 7, they're lining up pretty well, and I would actually suggest that ring number 7 is probably lining up the best when you actually compare it to ring number 5. So on this occasion, looking at the backs, you would probably go in this order: ring number 7, then ring number 5, and then ring number 3. Now looking at the breastwork, so looking at the birds from the front, again ring number 3, you can see probably not so well defined in terms of breastwork compared to ring number 5 and ring number 7, which are the sisters of course. But again, I would probably suggest, because of a small gap in the feathers on ring number 5 and a little twist in the feather on the neck on ring number 3, I would probably go with ring number 7 again here, which I think has a little bit more definition and generally looks the stronger bird, but there's very little to choose between the 2 on the right hand side. But then let's look at the heads. So ring number 3 has actually got some quite nice spangling through the head, and so has ring number 5, probably more so than ring number 7 on the far right hand side. But overall, based on the images that I've shared with you, I would probably argue strongly in favour of ring number 7 over ring number 5 and then ring number 3 with this selection. To support it further, well, ring number 7 was pretty successful for me this year. She only went to 2 shows, and one of the shows was the Southern Lizard Canary Club show, where she got 4th best lizard canary. Particularly pleased with her. The judge, John Record and John Martin, both stated how she showed herself off pretty much all day, and you can see a good example of that here. You can see her stretching, you can see those spangles lining up on the back, and you can see that breastwork, rowings also lining up as well. Wings probably look a little bit tidy on this side of the bird, but they look pretty good on the other side of the bird. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how things turned out for this non-cap gold hen. Unfortunately, on this clip, she has got herself a little bit wet. This video was taken in the bird room when I got the birds back from the show. But you can see, despite the fact that she's been at a show all day and probably caged up since the evening before, she's still looking pretty happy, pretty relaxed. And I think when she gets up there, you can still see she was lining up on the back pretty well from that clip, from what you could see. So then we have ring number 5, non-cap gold hen again, same family as we described earlier. And she was best non-cap champion at the Midland Lizard Canary Association, and also 3rd best champion in show. So again, another successful day for the non-cap gold hens. And on this occasion, ring number 7 actually was second to ring number 5, although my general feeling is that ring number 5 is the better bird. And again, to back up what I said, there is ring number 3. Overall, it was a strong season for me this year. 12 first place birds, 9 second placed, 8 third, 7 fourth placed. My biggest class win was first of a class 13 with the broken cap gold hen. And as you can see from the specials show results, at Walsall I was best champion and best lizard canary. The Southern Lizard was 4th best lizard canary, and the Midland, like I said, was best champion non-cap and also 3rd best champion. So all in all, a season that was a pretty positive improvement over and above the 2024 season, and I'm happy to say I have the birds that I think will hopefully take me forward again a little bit further, hopefully in 2026.